States and the genocide in Gaza. Cuba rejected the West's attempts to instrumentalize the Council, while Bolivia condemned the situation of migrants and held Washington responsible for the genocide in Gaza. The Cuban foreign minister denounced the growing Western imperialism, considering the U.S. policy of maximum pressure as a violation of human rights, although he reaffirmed Cuba's firm resistance. For his part, the Bolivian President Luis Arce denounced the Zionist war crime in Gaza. Arce also expressed concern about the migratory situation, rejecting the massive deportations of Latin Americans and the attempts to criminalize migration. An Iranian foreign minister Saeed Abbas Araghchi reaffirmed Iran's solidarity and support for Cuba in the face of the unilateral sanctions imposed by the United States. During a meeting with Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez in Geneva, Araghchi called the economic sanctions against Cuba a serious violation of the principles of the UN Charter, international law, and human rights of the Cuban people. Araghchi underlined Iran's support for UN General Assembly resolutions condemning the economic blockade, stressing the importance of strengthening cooperation between the two countries in international organizations to protect common interests. The two ministers also discussed developments in West Asia and violations of the human rights of the Palestinian people. And during his program Con Maduro Más, the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, condemned the media campaign that seeks to criminalize Venezuelan migrants regarding the arrival of 242 nationals through the planned return to the homeland. The president recalled that the Venezuelan migration was a result of the offensive campaign of criminal sanctions imposed by the United States. In this regard, President Maduro highlighted the work of the government in defense of the country's sovereignty by dismantling criminal groups operating under the orders of former Colombian presidents Iván Duque and Álvaro Uribe, in complicity with the Venezuelan far right. In Bolivia, the government started up a steel plant that will produce 200,000 tons of iron-derived construction materials per year and require an investment of over $500 million. Correspondent Freddy Morales with the details.
The plant is located in Puerto Suarez, near the Brazilian border, and will use iron from El Cerro Mutant, one of the world's iron ore reserves.
The truth is that it is a great satisfaction for me, today as municipal mayor of Puerto Suarez, to witness and represent those generations that have fought tirelessly for more than 80 years to see this dream come true.
The steel complex will produce 200,000 tons of steel per year in a first phase, which means half of these materials that the country has been importing until now.
Now that we are going to put this complex into operation and we are going to start producing steel, we will generate more than 700 direct jobs and more than 2,000 indirect jobs. This is what the steel complex represents in social terms.
President Luis Arce recalled that the financing of the complex used state resources and a loan from the government of China.
This is an investment of $546 million where there are three actors involved to finance. First, the financing of the Chinese government, whom we thank infinitely, as well as the brother ambassador of that country, through him. A big hug to brother Xi Jinping. Second, the resources of the central bank with a credit. And finally, to complete all this, the general treasury of the nation that is being invested, along with resources that are here to invest and fulfill the dream of so many Bolivians.
The complex will produce rebar and wire rod in its first phase.
This is a clear demonstration that the Bolivian state has to be and is the fundamental actor to advance towards the industrialization of our country. Industrialization is not just a story, it is a reality. We are showing the whole country that it is possible to industrialize the country, that this depends on the political decision of a government determined to build a solid and diversified economy in our country.
El yacimiento de hierro del Mutún es una de las reservas más grandes de este
The
mineral.
mutant iron ore deposit is one of the largest reserves of this mineral, with 40,000 million tons. Its production of 200,000 tons per year means that the state will save some $250 million in foreign currency that it used to spend on this import.
Freddy Morales, teleSUR, Bolivia.
In Paraguay, nearly 1.5 million students have returned to the classroom. Student organizations are demanding supplies and social support mechanisms, while experts warn about the low quality of the educational system. More in the following report with Osvaldo Sayas.
El año educativo se inició en Paraguay con
The
denuncias.
educational year began in Paraguay with complaints about the lack of school supplies in public schools and colleges, according to high school students who are members of the National Union of Student Centers.
The school kits are something we have been demanding for years, and they have not been delivered. This year was the one in which we had the worst complaints because it is the first day of school and the school kits were not delivered in any institution. The institutions in which they were delivered are in the interior of the country, and they'd announced that not all of them arrived. Most of the kits that arrived did not have all the materials we need.
Las carencias en infraestructura para escuelas.
Lack of infrastructure for schools and colleges is solved with self-management by parents and teachers, as in the case of the historic College República Argentina, located in the center of Asunción.
Well, in general, we receive things according to the classrooms and the furniture we have. But we always need some adjustments, of course, the electrical part, the plumbing part, which we will be adjusting according to our needs, and with the help of parents and teachers as well.
Luego de años de lucha, el movimiento secundario.
After years of struggle, the student movement won the student ticket through a law in 2006. This law has not been enforced for 3 years, and the students demand that the government stop trampling on their rights.
This is the third year that we will be without a student ticket. Since 2022, the Ministry of Education and Science has been avoiding the responsibility of providing the student ticket, thanks to the change in the payment system, which is now with a card. Before it was in cash. In any case, there is a law, there is a half-fair law, and the Ministry of Education has to guarantee that.
El informe del Programa para la Evaluación
The report of the Program for International Student Assessment states that in Paraguay, 7 out of 10 students do not understand what they read. Education specialist Ramon Corvalent explained the historical problems of the Ministry of Education.
En el tiempo siempre ha sido afectado por dos cuestiones. Uno, la injerencia política.
We have always been affected by two issues. One is political partisan interference, particularly from the Colorado Party. The other is the conservative religious interference. The intersection of these two has not been able to be untangled in history. This has continued in today what we see as a ministry captured by these two logics.
Ministerio capturado por esas dos lógicas, digamos.
El informe PISA ubica a Paraguay como uno de los
The Program for International Student Assessment report places Paraguay as one of the countries with the worst education systems in the world, where 9 out of 10 students are not able to solve basic math problems, a reality that is an obstacle for development, according to students and teachers.